So after the win that the Boston Celtics just had, it made me realize how in trouble this team is in. Let's get into it. So I feel like the first thing I'm going to hear is, oh, but Boston's winning, Boston's in the finals. I understand that. But they've had, one, a cakewalk to get to the finals. Two, these teams that they're playing against, they should be blowing them out. There's no reason why the Pacers should have been leading for the past 2 games, most of the game. And then Boston comes in and steals it last second. That shouldn't be a thing. From their journey so far, the Boston Celtics should have dominated every single team. Let's look at some of the competition that they've had along the way, their journey to get to the finals. So in the first round, you play a Miami Heat team that you usually struggle against without Jimmy Butler, and they won a game against you. Wow. Alright, cool, whatever. Let's go to the next series. The next series, they play the Cleveland Cavaliers, right? The Cleveland Cavaliers were missing Jared Allen and Donovan Mitchell during this series. They should have swept this team. But let's get into this series, the Indiana Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton got hurt, the best player on this team. The team that shouldn't even be in this position. I personally believe that if Jalen Brunson did not get hurt, the Boston Celtics would be playing the New York Knicks. And I think a healthy Jalen Brunson alongside with his team would have gave this Boston team a run for their money and possibly could have beat this team. But let me stay on task, right? They play the Indiana Pacers. Best player Tyrese Halliburton's out of the game. There's no reason why you should be having some of the role players on this team pop off the way they can. I've never seen TJ McConnell get so many buckets in my life. Oh my god, is he torching this team. Players like Andrew Nembhard, Neesmith, those two, oh my god, were they just getting absolute buckets out there. And I would have never expected that without them having Tyrese Halliburton. And that shouldn't have been the case. This is one of the greatest defensive teams of all time, in my opinion. That's how effective this defense could be at its peak. But I didn't see that. I just saw the Indiana Pacers crumble in the fourth quarter. And that's not an option for this Boston Celtics team because this Boston Celtics team is on a hot seat. If they don't get it done during this NBA Finals, me personally, I think they need to switch something up. Either Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum needs to be moved. And let's be honest, it's going to be Jaylen Brown. But one of them needs to be moved so that they can try and do something else. Because they've been running this experiment over and over and over again, and we get the same outcome every time. I personally believe 2 years ago when the Boston Celtics made it to the NBA Finals, if Jason Tatum was consistent, I think that they would have won that series. It was that close of a series. All this team has to do is show up, and this is the best version of their team possible. There's only 3 things holding this team back. The first thing is consistency. This team has to constantly be consistent and show up and go after it and get it. There's players like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown who just tend to have up and down games. One likes to go off while the other dude does okay. And they can't have that. Another thing is injury. Kristaps Porzingis is just coming back off an injury, so he's not going to have any playoff reps or playoff experience because he hasn't been able to play. And he's a very integral part of their defense and just the team as a whole. I would say he's the 3rd most valuable player to this team. And their last problem is I don't know if they're going to be as battle ready as whoever they face in the finals because they haven't had any competition like I mentioned earlier, so they don't have those same reps. They don't have that same just connectedness and teamwork that a team like last year's Denver Nuggets had, to where when it's in clutch time, they just lock in and get it together. I don't see that with this team. All I'm going to say is Boston better get it done or someone's going to be on the move this year. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Let me know if you really think that the Boston Celtics are going to actually be able to get it done and win a chip this year. But until then, NBA Sphinx out.